Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tess, and today I'm going to go over my current drugstore products that I use for work, for my corporate job, and the brushes, the makeup brushes I use to apply them. So if you have dry skin or oily skin, I got you covered. So let's get started. So first off, the foundation I've been loving is these two combined. So it's the L'Oreal 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation, which has SPF 25, and the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. It's oil-free. So if you have dry skin, you should get the Pro Glow in this one. And then if you have dry skin, you probably don't really need to combine the Pro Glow and the Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear, but you might, depending on how dry your skin is, and maybe even a dewy moisturizing primer underneath, and more dewy if that's your vibe. So, but I do love the way this foundation looks on the skin. It's awesome, highly recommend. So when I combine these two, it's amazing. This foundation is just bomb. Drugstore, come through. And so to apply that right now, I'm just using a beauty blender. I've just been using my Real Techniques beauty blender. So it's not an actual beauty blender, but the Real Techniques one that you can get at Ulta and Walmart. So the powder I've been using lately is this Morphe Bacon Set Setting Powder in Translucent. I think it's really good. For the longest time I was using, when it comes to drugstore loose powders, I was using the Maybelline Fit Me powder, the one that's oil-free. I think there's two versions of this. I want to say there is. I get the oil-free one. I think these powders are pretty comparable, honestly. And I feel like the Morphe one was cheaper. So in that case, I just go with the cheaper option, you know. Morphe, what's up? Let's see, to use my powder right now, I'm using the Real Techniques 003 brush from this collection. I'll link it down below. But this is a really good powder brush. If I don't use this, sometimes I'll use this Real Techniques one that I think is just called their powder brush. But I find, yeah, it's just called the powder brush. But I find this one's really good for powder foundation because it does have the density you need to apply powder foundation. Don't have a drugstore contour powder, and yeah, I wear a lot of makeup to work, so if you don't wear all this, then just pick and choose the products that you do wear. But regardless, do you. But I've been using the Loreal Contour Palette. It's called the Contour and Highlight Duo. However, I will say the L'Oreal one at the drugstore is really good. You do not need a high-end one. The L'Oreal one is really good. I'll link it down below. The bronzer I've been using is the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. The L'Oreal Lumi Bronzer, I'll link it down below too. That one's also really good from the drugstore. I've worn it to work a lot before too. But this is the shade Deep. Just a great bronzer from the drugstore. You can't go wrong with it. My blush, I honestly change up every day. I keep 3 or 4 different ones in my drawer and then just choose whatever I'm feeling that morning. But for drugstore, the two I've been grabbing the most that I have in my drawer are these Milani Baked Powder Blushes, and I've been grabbing Luminoso and Berry Amore a lot. I love Berry Amore. So yes, these two are my favorites for work. My cat is so freaked out every time I film. Highlighter, if I feel like putting highlighter on my cheekbones lately for work, then I do grab the Wet n Wild Boozy Brunch Highlighter. This is still available at the drugstore. I think in one of my videos I said I wasn't sure if it was still available, but I have seen it there. Oh, I didn't mention the brushes I use. So for the Wet n Wild, if I'm applying this to my cheeks, I use the Morphe Y14 brush. For my blush, I've been using the Circa brush that looks like this. I got it from the drugstore. I also really like the e.l.f. small stippling brush that looks like this for my blush too. And I've been using the Eco Tools Wonder Color Finish for my contour. No one talks about this brush, but this brush is really amazing for just if you're a beginner with contouring. I'd say this is easier to use than the Real Techniques one that looks like this, which a bunch of people use. Yeah, the contour brush from Real Techniques is also a great contour brush, but I think this one's better for beginners, and this is the one I've been grabbing every morning before work. And then for bronzer, I've been using the Morphe R2, but I'm kind of over it. I go back and forth on this one. Sometimes I'm oh, this is too big for my face and it's making it look too muddy. And so whenever I start feeling like that, then I go back to the Real Techniques buffing brush for my bronzer. Okay, sorry I skipped concealer. For the concealer I have been using is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Full Wear concealer that looks like this, and I use this shade Ivory 330. I usually just blend that out with my Real Techniques beauty sponge, and if I'm not using that, then I will grab the Morphe Y10 brush. It's really bomb for blending out concealer. There's also a banana powder by Makeup Revolution, the yellow setting powder. If I'm feeling fancy, I will use that under my eyes to set my concealer, but typically I just use whatever powder I'm using all over my whole face before work. You know, I don't really care. I've actually been using the Anastasia Dip Brow for my brows for work a lot because this stuff is just so good. I use the Dip Brow Pomade in Caramel. I mean, this stuff is great for vacation. It lasts you like through in and out of being on the beach and the water, and it just lasts all day. But if I don't grab this, then I do just grab my e.l.f. eyebrow kit. Like, it's work. My eyebrows don't need to be on fleek. But I know for some people, that's like the highlight of their day is having their eyebrows be on fleek. So you might want something a little more legit than this if you were looking for a drugstore product. Like probably some brow gel and a brow pencil as well. Sometimes I'll just use the Morphe E29 eyebrow brush. But the best eyebrow brush ever really is the Anastasia. My cat is walking by. So the best eyebrow brush ever is the Anastasia 7B, just in general. Like if I'm using the dip brow where I need to be precise, then I use the Anastasia brush. But if I'm just using like the e.l.f. eyebrow kit, then I'll grab the Morphe brush because it puts on more product because it is bigger. Not gonna lie, I've been using a lot of the Urban Decay Ultimate Basics eyeshadow palette for my eyeshadow lately, but I did use this for the longest time. It looks really janky, I apologize. I did use the Wet n Wild Color Icon Rosé in the Air for the longest time for going to work every day. I mean, you got everything you need, you know. It's a good palette and it's cheap, and I wanted to stick mainly to drugstore in this video. For that, a lot of times I would go in with the Morphe R37 for whatever I'm putting all over my eyelid. And then I would go in with the Morphe M433 if I have like a crease color that I'm not trying to be precise with, but I'm just trying to like deepen up the crease. And then for like the deepest part of the outer corner, I've been using this makeup brush by It Cosmetics, but it doesn't have a name. So I will try and find it and link it down below. But not gonna lie, I have been like, sometimes when I go to work, I just want to like have matte eyeshadow, I don't care. Other times I want to put something kind of shimmery in the center of my eyelid, even though let's be real, like no one at work is noticing or caring, but you know, I do it for me. I have been going in from this Tarte Dream Big eyeshadow palette. I don't know if this was limited edition, but I just like this shimmery shade and it's called Risk Taker. And so I just take that and put it on the center of my lid with my finger. Or sometimes I use the Anastasia single eyeshadow in the color Pink Champagne to do that. Those are like my two favorites right now for like a subtle, beautiful shimmer for work that I think is work appropriate. And then for eyeliner, I have been using also another Merle Norman product, the Soft Touch Eye Pencil in the shade Peacock. It's green, it like adds a little, I use that or a gray eyeliner pencil. The green definitely adds like kind of a pop. These are just like the two eye pencils I have right now that aren't black that I've been using for work. So I recommend the Sephora ones, which technically are not drugstore, but the Sephora brand eyeliner pencils are super creamy. They're very comparable to high-end in my opinion, and they have every color under the rainbow. So you could get a light brown or literally any color you want that you think is work appropriate. So that's what I would recommend. Eyeliners at the drugstore are very similar between Maybelline and L'Oreal. Like if you pick one of those crown eye pencils, I feel like a lot of them are similar. You probably just want to stay away from like a black kohl eyeliner. Like that's probably not what you're looking for work, but you know, whatever you're vibing. And then for eyeliner, I have been using the NYX Matte Liquid Liner, a great eyeliner for every day for work. I have been using the Fenty Beauty eyeshadow primer a lot because I just feel like my whole face gets oily. Eyeshadow is creasing or your mascara is smudging on your eyelid, and I just feel like using this eyeshadow base has really helped with that. I usually put this all over my eyelid and then just take this Sigma Angled Kabuki F84 and just like blend it out really quick. Like it takes 2 seconds. It's not necessarily a step that has to happen, mainly because I have oily skin. And then so I usually apply that before my eyeshadow, For mascara, I do like the Maybelline Lash Sensational Luscious Full Fan Effect mascara. I also like their pink one. Grabbed the other mascara I really like. This mascara by L'Oreal called Voluminous Feline Noir is really great. I've been loving this, so recommend this too. I just feel like to get the best effect, you need to use two mascaras because you need like the different wand styles, but if I am going in with one, then I just go in with this one lately. That's getting kind of dry. I feel like mascaras just dry up so fast. And then if I'm in the mood to add a pop of like shimmery, like white corner to the insides of my eye, just because I feel like it makes me look more awake, and then I've been using the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Shimmerista Highlight Strobe Powder. This shade 505 Moonlight. It's very like white. And when I use that, I will go in with the, it says R13. It's pretty much all rubbed off, but I could just go in with this like R13 and put it there. And I'll usually put it under my brow bone too if I'm wanting to look a little bit more awake. Okay, so that's it for my drugstore face products that I've been loving. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and leave down below what you would like to see in my videos. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. It's corporate_blonde_, and visit my website, corporateblonde.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.